I am happy that our director from SUDEP is here. Most of our public schools or government-owned schools, we are having serious issues. These are some of the factors that deprive some of us to get into a certain level. Because at your early age, you feel equal with any other person. But once you start getting some age, there are things you cannot do, and your younger ones or other ones cannot back you. At the end of the day, you zero your mind. Kaga, in this case, but how can they go back somebody? So there are so many factors. There are so many factors. If you come up, if one person with disability will share his experience, how he even become educated, is very pathetic. So we need to put them together to make sure that things work for all of us. Then we talk about compliance. By some institutions have started implementing accessibility measures, while others lack due to funding and awareness gap. You see, this is what I was just saying. That lack of awareness can easily prevent some of the stakeholders, some of the NPAs, for putting things in use for persons with disability in the area of accessibility. So I think we need to partner with more relevant stakeholders to create awareness. And I'm showing that there are a lot of people in Kaduna today that doesn't know that such thing exists. A lot. I don't know whether the organizers extend their invitation to religious and traditional leaders, because this is a very critical stakeholder that if we engage, the person will easily get to the community. If there's no such provision, the Disability has stepped forward in partnership with the OPD, as Organization of Persons with Disability, can partner to engage these two institutions in terms of creating awareness in the area of accessibility and disability inclusion in Kaduna State. Section 18 of Kaduna State Disability Law mandates that building be accessible require landlord to allow tenants with disability to make necessary modifications. The government must ensure that roads, sidewalks, pedestrian crossing, and other public facilities are accessible. You see, if I happen to rent an apartment or a structure which the tenant doesn't understand that this provision is there in Kaduna State, I think it's a talk of war. Why must you demolish my structure? You understand me? So many things will come. This is the area where we need more awareness campaign, more engagement, so that everybody will be in the picture of the current happening in Kaduna State. Also, Section 18 provides 10 years moratorium for full compliance with this accessibility requirement. Maybe later on I will throw a question to disability assessment. The law is just 3 years old, and the Section 18 makes provision of 10 years. How far in terms of this compliance? Are people ready to comply? There have been disability affect for working towards engaging towards sensitizing the public that they only have 6 years, 6 years. Because out of 10 years, multi 6 years. What this section is saying, there's a 10 years grace notice for good people of Kaduna State to modify their structure that will suit and accommodate persons with disability in the area of accessibility. After these 10 years, you can easily sue that I tried to make my way to this hotel, and unfortunately there is no provision. And the law have made every provision, so I can easily sue. I don't know whether there is a provision of penalty in that area. I used to know that of national there is a provision of penalty. There is no there is a provision for penalty if you do not comply with this section. I think the court have to do some interpretation and even penalize the offenders of such. Then Section 18.5a mandates that relevant authority ensure all public plans conform with the provided building codes before approval is granted. This is where we also need Kaduna. In fact, there is no how we can achieve all what we are seeing in terms of accessibility without the partnership of Kaduna and other relevant stakeholders. Section 18.6a and b grant person with disability the right to seek redress in court for any breach of their accessibility right by brothers with disability. Maybe then the Papa goes to that. That is but the unfortunate thing, even most of us, virtually 9% of us that are beneficiary of these provisions from the Shiva. That's the problem. So one of the problems is even one of the problems they say implementation is going back. So I would love if Disability Affairs Board, Ministry of Human Service, the OPDs in Kaduna, and other relevant stakeholders can create a platform where you sensitize and even engage our OPDs at the local level. Because some of us have an opportunity to be here, we have to give glory to God for the little opportunity. We have little opportunity compared to our brothers and sisters in the rural area. Most of them, I can say 90% or 99.9% doesn't know that such provision is there for them. And if you don't know that this provision is there for you, how will you achieve it? How will you achieve it? So these are some of the problems we need. Because you don't need to tell somebody that I Dukata che amana kaza. Okay, yes, amana kaza. Kai menene gudunmawanka? Ɗaya daga cikin gudunmawa na shine in zo mu ga maka da baka sani ba cewa akwai doka na. Shi da gudunmawa. Because nobody will champion your cause. These days, if you don't blow your trumpet, nobody will blow it for you. These are some of the things, these are some of the parties. Why we understand their comfort zone, there's need for us, as well as check the bulletin, you must do sensitization, you must do engagement, you must do anything. Once you put all these things in space, you definitely get the result. So these are some of the provisions that Kaduna State Disability Law Yeimana wajen area of accessibility. But the problem, we still have an issue within ourselves. Menene issue in? We need to know this. It's just like as a Christian, by option, but some Bible dole. As a Muslim, dole ne ka san Qur'ani. As a person with disability, ko da za a fassara wannan abin da yare mu ne, there's need for. So all my emphasis, all my call is on Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board and Ministry for Human Service. There is need to break down all these things. That of National Disability Law, and fassara shi into 3 major languages: Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. English, thank you for that update. In this area, we have state-owned media. I'm sure if the MPAs responsible for disability issues approach or engage Kaduna State Media Corporation, we can have a platform where we create awareness in this area of accessibility. I think they will be willing to do so for us. But the issue is, have we ever made attempt of presenting such things to them? That's the key thing. If we do, I'm very optimistic that the media are ever ready to partner with the Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board and Ministry for Human Service in terms of disability inclusion, particularly on the area of accessibility. Then we talk of public transport accessibility. That is where the wahala is. There are a lot of transporters who doesn't like, for unknown reason, to carry person with disability. For unknown reason. If I should travel with my wheelchair today, I know what I'm passing through. There are a lot of commuters that ask me that you must pay for your wheelchair. The question is just wrong. Have you ever seen where somebody traveled and left his leg behind? That's the question I throw to them. Nothing more than that. Yeah? So these are issues that we must engage. I think we have a ministry responsible for regulating transportation in Kaduna State. They need to bring them on board. How can you bring all these transport organizations, sensitize them, engage them, and make provision for persons with disability? The National Disability Act makes provision that in any car, in any vehicle, be it commercial, there must, I think, one seat should be earmarked for persons with disability. I don't actually know whether there's this provision in this Kaduna State Disability Law. I think it's even a task for me now to go through it. Then Section 14 of the law ensures that all transport systems in Kaduna State are accessible to persons with disability. Challenges include lack of specially designed vehicles, inadequate funding for accessible transport, and non-compliance from private transport operators. I just say it. These are issues. So we need to bring more stakeholders. I think that is the essence of the summit. We now identify some stakeholders that we were able to identify. At the end of the day, we can still engage them in another city to see how they can partner with us to make such provision accessible and free for persons with disability. Parking space. I only need to understand that there is only one NPA in Kaduna that have parking space for persons with disability. I think it's CALPED. Yes, CALPED make that provision. How many NPAs do we have in Kaduna State? If we can start from all the NPAs, I think other private sectors will definitely emulate. They will emulate. So I'm happy. I think we even need to clap for CALPED. Then Section 15 mandate that at least 1 out of every 20 parking slots be properly marked and reserved for persons with disability. Though I cannot even know the numbers of persons with disability that have that we get at Hawa. Go back already. About issue money. Issue didn't make that provision. I was with House Committee Chairman on disability yesterday at Abuja. When he was in America, he works around disability inclusion before he became House of Rep member. In fact, there's a data for every person with disability. So we are working towards having such provision in Nigeria. And I'm sure if that provision is there, at the side of Nigeria, Kaduna State will definitely be one of the beneficiaries. Then I talk more about awareness. This one is talking about training and awareness. Kaduna State has initiated programs to train government employees on disability awareness. Yes, each a limited reach and effectiveness due to budget constraints and inconsistent training in modules. Well, I used to know that the Disability Affairs Board, even before the new ES came on board, the former ES who is here with us today have come up with this initiative. But unfortunately, one good thing with issue of disability, it used to issue of budget. But I want us to understand one thing. We can go outside the box, not from the angle of government. We as OPDs, because we are the one passing the pace. You understand me? How can we make move to make sure that these things come into reality? If you wait for, at times, your initiative can even key in government, it can bring government key in when you make a very good initiative. Okay, for instance today, it is not the government that called for the Disability Summit. It is OPD approach government that they need to have this summit. And before you know it, we get in the buying of so many partners who are working around disability inclusion. So they are now challenging our OPD that come up with an initiative that will get the buy-in of everyone. It will leave it in the hand of government alone. So that's a matter of one thing. Go back a minute. So the corporate compliance. I talk about private sectors. The issue of disability inclusion should not be left in the hand of government alone. There is huge contribution we are expecting from private sectors. There is no single private sector that in a money. As simple as it is, let's say Pap Malo Akasa. I have a corporate social responsibility. Are they doing it? I think there is need for all of us to put that together and engage these private sectors. We have more from them. I understand that in the disability law, there is a space for Kaduna State Disability Trust Fund, which is yet to take up. Let me make a humble appeal on the Honorable Permanent Secretary. Persons with disability in Kaduna State, I am not talking on your behalf, but I am making this passionate request. In the whole of the country, it's only Lagos that have disability trust fund. We want Kaduna to be the second. We want Kaduna to be the sector. We are pushing this request to the permanent secretary and our ES and all those who can support us in achieving this. The excess of the trust fund, when you have that trust fund on board, there are so many things that government will even get relief. The corporate organization will now be supporting disability inclusion towards making sure that things work well for persons with disability based on the trust fund we have. If you go to Lagos today, Lagos is one of the best in the area of disability inclusion, and it's not being done by government alone. Most of their activities, most of their happening is supported by private sectors. So I will need Kaduna to be the second and to be the first in the north. Then many private sectors, where we was many private sectors doesn't even know that issue of disability exists. We can partner with the Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board, engage them, tell them what we are expecting from them, and follow up. And I'm sure by so doing, we'll definitely make headway. If not for even accessibility, do you know that accessibility deprives some of the private sectors from even employing persons with disability? Yes, they do. Someone will tell you, my office is 3-story building. If I employ you now, how will you access the office? So in this case, I cannot employ you. Not that you don't have the qualification. You have all what it takes to employ you. But because you don't have, we don't have accessibility, I think so many excuses. And even those that were employed are not given the opportunity to work like their able counterpart. If you are talking of employment spaces, we talk about reasonable accommodation, where a visually impaired, a hearing impaired, person with albinism, somebody like me on wheelchair can work comfortably without any hindrance. That's what we understand by reasonable accommodation. It's not to make provision. If you make provision, you can see the talent. God given talent to person with disability. That's why there is even a little shift. We used to say there is ability in disability. Accessibility more priority a Kaduna State da ƙasa ma da baki daya. Thank you for I can take my leave.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is your paper handy for the
It's with them.
It's with them. Can we give him a big round of applause? Executive Secretary, this document are vital. I will beg your good heart, document are vital. I will beg your good heart to see how the clarion call the presenters made. To see how the clarion call the presenters made for some class work, meeting work to implementation, ma'am. This is the only way we are going to make a headway. So that in the end of your office, the way we actually make mention of some of the achievements of Ogaya Kase, your immediate EX. We want one day when you leave office, we want to come and count the 100 achievements of yours by the grace of God, man. And let God give you the grace to do so. We want to thank Mr. Some of us may want to ask one or two questions. Mr. Rulwan, thank you so much for your presentation. Can we bring Ogaya Kase before we ask questions and go for lunch? They are with us. Yanzu Kungani Anna Summit. Koba Hakaba is getting into our heads now. It's not a normal meeting we do in other fora, but this is why we are here. And the craving here is let there be a transformation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my honor and privilege. Can we be on a standing position? Can we be on a standing position? Okay, I'm told to do small energizer for us. Yes. Are you with me? Yes. Okay, when I say clap, you say clap. When I say clap, say clap. I'm starting again now. Zan fada sai ku maimaita. Fada Allah ba mun bar makaranta da dadewa. To come to my class now. When I say clap, when I say clap, when I say laugh, when I
on social inclusion among persons with disability in our society was the former Executive Secretary, Rehabilitation Board, Kaduna State, Nigeria, the man that has worked close to persons with disability for so many years, was privileged to work through the 23 local governments where formations of persons with disability are set in 2015. We went to 23 local governments. I was privileged to be part of the team as one of the media persons, and only Rehabilitation Board gave me the privilege. In my state, Kaduna State, I've gone to 23 local governments, courtesy of Rehabilitation Board. Can you give them a big round of applause? And Oga also facilitated for that, and we went around to see things for ourselves. For some of us, we don't just speak here. We went and met the structures, the people, and of course, we are enjoying Kaduna. If you go to Sanga, or when you go to Birnin-Gwari, even to go to Birnin-Gwari was something else. At 2015, not to talk 2025, 10 years ago. And so let me not bore you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Oga is capable to speak to us. Probably the next 10-20 minutes, let's hear from him. Can we collectively give him a resounding round of applause?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honorable Commissioner of Human Services and Social Development, ably represented by Edward Ramsey and my friend, the Executive Secretary, Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board, representative of the Kaduna State Basic Education Board, Kaduna State Scholarship and Laws Board, Ministry of Education, Bureau of Statistics, the Nigerian Police, and all other distinguished guests here present. Good afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to stand before you this afternoon and present this paper, which initially I was asked it will take me 30 minutes to present, but has now been reduced to 20 or 10 minutes. That notwithstanding, as my previous presenters have done, I'm not going to go into the presentation, but I want to take us through discussion. On the issue of social inclusion, social inclusion is not a challenge only for persons with disabilities, but it's a challenge for general marginalized groups. But it's more prevalent. It's more worrisome when it comes to persons with disabilities, because already they are at disadvantage. What do you mean by social inclusion? When we say social inclusion, all we are trying to say is that everybody, mind this word, everybody should be carried along in the scheme of things. No matter your situation, no matter your position, no matter your status, or you have disability or you don't have disability, you are going to be socially included in the society, in whatever is taking place in the society. That's, in a nutshell, what social inclusion means. Be it education, in the area of education, in the area of healthcare, economic activities, whatever name it. Everyone must be included. But when we come to the issue of social inclusion for persons with disabilities, it means that persons with disabilities must, not you, must be included in whatever is taking place in society. Why should they be included? Number one, they are part and parcel of society. So you are not doing a favor or favor to them when you include them, but you are doing what is supposed to be done. Because they are part and parcel of society. Are you a commissioner? Are you a council? Are you an executive secretary? Are you a director? Are you a governor? Are you a deputy? Whatever you are you a religious person? Are you a new leader? You have to know that it's the phone on you. It never says it's going to you to carry person with disabilities alone. If you didn't carry them alone, there's bound to be serious problem. For a society to be developed, each and every part of the society has to play a role wholeheartedly. Then the society will achieve any development. But when a significant percentage of society is left behind in the process of development, the rest assured that society will never be developed. Because significant percentage of the population are left behind. And they have no to play in the development. So, and then doing this what social inclusion means. But before I move to go further, I would like to talk on the need or why it is necessary that persons with disabilities must be included in our society. Persons with disabilities, most especially in developing countries, are facing numerous challenges, numerous uncountable challenges. Let me dwell on some of the challenges so that you will agree with me that it is necessary and that it is for us to socially or economically or whatever include persons with disabilities. Let me start by talking briefly under the education sector. Persons with disabilities are facing serious exclusion challenges when it comes to education. Is it in the process of admission? In the process after you get admission, there are challenges also. Then while in the school, there are also surmountable challenges. In the process of getting admission, they are being exploited. Most especially those with visual impairment and those with hearing impairment. Their own exclusion is more pronounced than the other disability groups. In those people that even the people that you taught that are aware have knowledge of disability issues. But when it comes to issue of education of persons with disabilities, they are quite ignorant of what disability is all about. I will never forget this scenario when one day we are at the house, you know that time there is going to be a presentation from MPS where they will go properly to present the activities for them to come and not showing the academic address. So there is a time when you come for presentation of system of nursing, here in Kaduna. So somebody from the panel asked the professor about the head of the school of nursing, how many persons with disabilities do you have? The woman said, persons with disabilities, you mean that we should admit persons with disabilities to be a nurse or a midwife? Everybody was surprised and amazed. It's only God that said that he might have used her employment there. So this is to show you how ignorant some people are when it comes to issues. For her, she told a person with disability never to a loss. But I feel a challenge to her and told her, do you know that we won't have a head of physiotherapy department at the Institute of American Education Hospital in Ghana, who is 100% blind?
So if somebody who is 100% blind can write to us at the benefit of the disability department, they are telling me that somebody with a disability can never become a nurse. The first executive chairman of the Local Disability Affairs Board is a wheelchair, and he's a medical doctor. So these are the kind of so they are making these challenges. They are finding it extremely difficult to get at the local. Even if they succeeded, despite all those difficulties and generalization, the challenges are also there. The last speaker has just spoken about the issue of accessibility. Most of our higher institutions do have upstairs, and the lecturer doing here, whether you can crawl or you can jump or you can do whatever to find yourself at the upstairs. If you cannot, it's your own cup of tea. These are the kind of challenges school measure in terms of accessibility when it comes to the issue of education of persons with disability. Let us move down to employment issues. Even if as a person with disability you are struggling and the mandatory is what and you are able to be educated, another new challenge is for you. How can you be employed? I know the kind of challenges we will encounter, but I thank God that we are able to overcome the challenges that time when they are going to do the employment of teachers for primary schools. So these are the kind of issues. Somebody will never know that somebody with primary employment can teach in primary schools. So what the extra mind to convince people to agree with this is possible. And I have to thank today that there are going to employ 6 persons with disabilities, 6 employees with disabilities, some serious people. So if as somebody without disability, you have to work hard 80% or 70% to get employment. For person with disability, you have to 250% for him to get employment. Because you have to convince the employers that yes, you can be able to deliver the market with disability. So at least that I see another challenge. So if economic challenges are also there, persons with disabilities are going to serious financial expenses. Financial expenses in the sense that people don't even have checks or persons with disabilities. One person in a wheelchair, or somebody who is blind, or somebody who has a disability, are probably a pound for more. They are not going to look at him or look at his business plan to say whether he is qualified to be given the order, look at his disability and say, what am I going to do? You guys left the AGP and I'm happy and patient for them. So we are not going to go from the world. So Indians have that kind of difficulties for their entire experiences. Then let us come down to the primary level. People with disability are not serious challenges right from back and so successful. Once the people discover that they are playing with a child and have one form of disability or the other, they take this in neglecting that child right from the beginning. They leave women around and bring away with them as come. Maybe the only confirmed him or her, if you break a little bit older, if he or she is the other man, then they will buy the form for him, so that they can ask him to stay at the forefront of their life so that he can be taken. That's the only situation can give him for him to survive. And then, apart from this, the people get later, when they come to the education, they will think of other children with disabilities. And forget about children with disabilities and think that they cannot be able to achieve anything in their life. So these are the kind of numerous challenges that persons with disabilities are encountering. And as such,
not overall for us if you neglect this significant percentage of population. As the total speaker rightly pointed out, nobody is immune to disability. That's what I also said. Nobody can tell you that from the time I was born to the time that I'm going to die, I will not be affected with any disability. Nobody can give that guarantee. So if you cannot give that guarantee, and whether we like it or not, we have to stay together with person with disability. There is no nation on earth, no matter how popular they are, that don't have person with disability among them. If America, who is planning to be more popular than the superpower of the world, has person with disability, then the logic that we have also, we have to believe in disability. The only thing is that it's not the disability that matters, but what is happening to person with disability. Are we giving them a sense of belonging, or are we neglecting them, or are we encouraging them so that they can to live a reasonable life with disability or not? This is the good question that we are supposed to always ask ourselves. Then, how can we provide a sense of inclusion for persons with disabilities? As I said earlier, inclusion implies carrying everybody along, making conditions for each and every person in the society to contribute to or better in the societal development. If, as person with hearing disability, I need an assistive device, or I need a sign language interpreter that can help me to be able to know what is happening in the society, I was not provided with such, then I was not provided with my life. And not providing me with my life would make it extremely difficult and actually impossible for me to be able to contribute to my proper development of the society. So all those persons with disabilities are asking for is why can't we create such a level environment for them so that they can be able to also function with disability? Because the level of disability is not inability. So, how can we make our society especially inclusive for persons with disabilities? This is simple. Simple in the sense that all the honors of development, all what it takes to develop in a society, we have to ensure that persons with disability are part and parcel of that developmental process. Not only saying that they should be included, not only included, but we have to ensure that they play active part in the developmental process. And we can only be able to do that if we make conditions conducive for them and provide a level program for them to be able to participate actively in societal development. Education. We have to provide an inclusive education, not education per se. There has to be provision for inclusive education. Some people say that providing inclusive education entails government to spend billions of naira, they have to build new schools, they have to provide ramps, they have to provide this. No. I think to provide all that. That's not what inclusive education is. Inclusive education means more condition attainable for everybody to be able to learn on equal basis with all that have no disability. If I make a ramp, provide that ramp so that I can use my wheelchair to navigate to the classroom. If somebody needs a sign language interpreter, provide the sign language interpreter so that he can keep in touch with what is happening in the classroom. If somebody needs a visual environment that needs a interpreter, that needs a computer that can be added with software that can assist him to learn, provide that condition environment to him. He will make it relatively easier and everybody will be able to learn in the same atmosphere like other people, whether regardless of their disability status. Then let us come to the issue of equality. So the healthcare services. Our healthcare services is not disability friendly. Disability friendly not only the kind of making the hospital accessible for persons with disability, but we have to make sure that communication is readily available for every patient and patient that is that facility. If somebody that has one disability wants to attend healthcare service, it's not his responsibility to provide a formal letter, some language person that can accommodate him to the health facility for those to attend healthcare service. It's the responsibility of the society to provide a sign language person that can be able to be at the health facility to provide that service. But it's a right for him. The constitution of the Nigerian government that is a right for him to attend healthcare services. And he should never be denied healthcare services because of his or her disability. So that's what is in place. So the fact that the main person to example, I'm giving an example of hearing disability because some of them, they are not addressing more commonly. The first one is healthcare facilities. And if the healthcare provider is not able to be in tune of what the person is complaining about, there's going to be serious cases. He might say that this is not a disturbing him, and the healthcare service provider will not understand him, and he will thought that he needs social also and prescribe wrong medicine for him. You will not get this understanding until you everyone in their shoes will be able to understand and appreciate that it is a serious challenge that needs to be addressed. Economic areas are very good, financially included. All that is taking place economically, they should be allowed to participate. That's why I can't stand by without thanking the Western government. Because yesterday I was made to understand that the executive council has passed an equality gender-based benefit system. I think the government is not a class of push. The gender inclusive benefit system will provide an opportunity. I think gender procurement will provide an opportunity for each and everyone to participate actively in procurement process. Being or her partner is ability, they also can be able to participate actively. And the government will be coming over for the incentives. When it is a company or a private entity that is owned 100% by women, government is providing some palliatives or incentives for them. So I'm appealing to our women with disability to take this opportunity and utilize it to the full. But there are those that can engage in different businesses that you can utilize this opportunity provided by the state government. That's as far as financial inclusion is concerned. Then down at the family level, I'd like to use this opportunity to appeal to our community leaders and religious leaders to those that have death in personal disability. And I believe that we take personal disability as taking serious stigmatization. And they want to inform people to the community members to understand that it's a lot of cost to people with disability. So they have to do everything they cover to do to ensure that persons with disability are also involved. So basically, types of mind, whatever. Until this is done, each and everybody will be coming around and the society will come to benefit from this laudable initiative. I would like to thank the board for organizing this summit. This is the first time in the history of the board that the education the community summit is organized. And we thank the board, also doing the mayor campaign and doing this festival. What I will do is I can start this before we go so that I tell you it's the same scenario. Whatever that happens to our caregiver and social responsibility, we find out that the way to do the desired attention. If this is not a disability summit, this hall will not be a one for all. There has to go to the big hall. But we found out that almost 80% of people that are here are persons with disabilities. We don't be discouraged. At least a step forward is being reported. But God is carrying on development process and the truth. You have to keep on struggling. People are struggling, people are hitting and getting issues so that government and other relevant stakeholders will continue to provide safely and issues affecting persons with disabilities. I thank you very much for having time to listen to me and the rest of what I will continue to do. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, actually from the outset I said Ogaya Kase is qualified to speak to us today. Yayan Kanema, he has been in the system for many years, and so he has gathered plenty experience to speak to us from now till sunset. But he took out of many to bring to bear of what the nitty-gritty is all about. And we need to appreciate this man today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So seriously, we are missing you, but I think the executive secretary will once in a while tap from the wealth of your experience. Keep in touch. What's not going to happen? So I tap Allah. My honor and privilege, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gradually coming close to this important summit first day. But permit me, I wish other resource persons are in, let's dive to ask one or two questions, because many are craving to ask questions and probably make contributions in scheduling the way forward. But let me throw into this house. We're supposed to go for prayer. We do apology the time I'm watching, but because the discussion is key for us to be able to buy time. And so, can we create 5 minutes or thereabout for prayer? Can we ask questions? We have panel of discussants. We're supposed to give them like 15 minutes to speak to us. Key persons will speak. So we want to join this important segment to achieve before the closing time. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we navigate our way to do panel of discussants? Let me introduce them, or should we go for prayer for 5 minutes if it will not distract us? Can we continue? When you're done, you pray before you go. And then I'm told probably I can't preempt them if the lunch is packaged, so that in the course of the panel discussion, we can be able to have our lunch handy before we go. But perhaps if we are done with the panel discussion, then we can get our lunch, then we now navigate our way home and prepare and come back tomorrow. Are we good to go? Are we making sense? So permit me, let's observe the 15 minutes panel of discussion. You ask questions, you collect your lunch, then you pray and you can go. Do I make sense? Does it make sense? My honor and privilege, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the next 15 minutes will be dwelling on the theme. And so I will create the introduction, even I did not inform her. Ma, statistics, Bureau for Statistics. You will be also speaking. Your chair will come back here. I will pick the chair for you, ma, to come here and speak to this audience. My honor and privilege to give her a big round of applause. A sort of recap from the team, and Oga from Suben. Okay, she can come here. Can we give her a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And Oga from Suben, permit me if I did not call their name, you know them, because we will have been with them. Can we give him a big round of applause? He will also be speaking. And I wish to join the concept. Permit me that all the discussion in the end will come back to your table. Because you are a strong resource person. That in the end you make things happen in Kaduna State. And so some solutions or ideas they may bring to your table. And we are privileged you are here to discuss with your principal, who will energize and give us a first day, whereby in the end of this meeting, we will start seeing changes. Because professionals have spoken, participants have also contributed. So permit me to join her in the part of the panel. Can we give her a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? I wish to add one person. All right. I'm told to bring WHO to join the panel, and last but not the least, the police. Can we give them a big round of applause? So if you can digest the theme, speak around the theme, let's see how we are going to navigate your way. If you don't mind, you can still remain. I will pass the microphones to you to chip in. So at this point in time, my honor and privilege, when we get set to enable questions to come from all that I will be saying, and then your question may be going to any person you feel you want to throw your questions at. My honor and privilege, I will be moderating the panel. Let me first allow Oga from Suben to speak to us. Give us CALPED answer about barrier, breaking barriers, and exploring the roles of relevant stakeholders, building inclusion, sustainable future where everyone belongs. Can we give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Don't get tired, I'm carrying you along in the end. You will have a super duper time before you go. Can you give him a big round of applause?
Let me stand up. Thank you very much, MC, for this opportunity to kind of share some few reflections in terms of the theme of this important summit. My engagement my reflection will strategically be focused on education, because that is where I work. And even in education, the basic education, that's the foundational part of the education. And part of my reflection with this theme is when you look at it, the first word that comes is breaking barriers. Now, Madam Rilwan said something about if the provisions are met, then there are no barriers. It is the absence of provisions for persons with disability that creates obstacles or bring barriers. So we have to first mentally imagine a world where there are no barriers, and then we should work towards creating that world for ourselves and for our younger ones. Now, the first reflection I have on this theme is my first engagement with the institution of Rehabilitation Board, as it was then called. It was in 1986. In the middle of our education, we went for an internship in Kaduna. And from then on, I got hooked. I learned Braille. So I can read and I can teach Braille. Now, this also makes me to appreciate more in terms of inclusiveness in our society. At the Sudan, when I joined,
and I was given the task of managing teachers, the first question I asked was, give me the data of our teachers. And when we got the data, we did it as a status update. We had about 30,000 teachers in 2021. We just recruited freshly about 18,000 or thereabout. And then I now ask for training. How many of them have gone for training in the last 3 years? And I saw a large profile of statutory training from UBEC, training support from development partners and the rest of things. But then the question came, what about teachers with disabilities? And then there was no answer. We had an inclusive desk and a desk officer, but we don't have the data of teachers with disabilities. And if you don't have the numbers and the spectrum of the disabilities of those teachers, how are you going to give them specific trainings? And then how are you going to mainstream them into your regular training? That was the first reflection. And that was the barrier we first broke. The first thing we did was we created a disability desk in the Human Resource Department to handle issues of teachers with disability. In both their numbers, we need to know and their